So guys, there is a breaking news here. Finally, the Tinubu's government bows to pressure. This headline here says, Senate declares kidnapping, banditry as terrorism, approves death penalty for offenders. So guys, this is the latest happening and Nigerians have applauded this move. You can imagine if they had done this before now, I don't think we would have lost the numerous lives we've lost from the time of Buhari till now. Since APC came into government, they've used the lives of Nigerians for politics. Now, banditry and kidnapping is now seen as a terrorist act. Remember, an APC chieftain from the north came out arguing that bandits shouldn't be treated as terrorists. Like you can see from this headline, this is yesterday's headline, and it says bandits are jihadists, not terrorists. Federal government can't use full force against them. APC chieftain is saying that federal government cannot use full force on them because they are just jihadists. But they said there's no jihad. Jihadists are those who are buying others for not believing in Islam. And when we say there's Christian genocide, they say there's no genocide. And now an APC chieftain is saying these bad guys, these Fulani militias, that they are just jihadists. They are bandits and they are jihadists. They are not terrorists. So you can't treat them as such. And the person who said this, his name is, like this article reads further saying, an APC chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, Abdulrahman Bello, has described bandits as jihadists, arguing that the federal government cannot deploy military force against them because there is no current law prescribing them as terrorists. So guys, this is why these guys have been having a free day. But guess what? The Senate has taken this bold move to declare them terrorists, and the punishment for this is death penalty. Now, Oshomole has argued why the recent judgment passed to an ISWAP leader was just 20 years imprisonment. Anyway, before we get to the video, take a look at this. This one here says, Boko Haram members, armed robbers found on army police recruitment list. So guys, this country is gone. Who did this to us? Is it the northern leaders? Who did this to us? Can you imagine? Boko Haram members and armed robbers were found on army police recruitment list. So when they tell you that they recruit these people into the military, you can see this coming from the house of the Speaker of the House of Assembly. So guys, this is not just a side talk. This is coming from one of the most senior people in this country, saying that the names of Boko Haram members and also armed robbers were found in recruitment lists. Do you know how many that have been recruited? Unknown. And some of them are known because we've heard that those that have said they are repentant Boko Haram are being given the privilege to come and use their military skills and help the army. And at the end of the day, they keep leaking secrets to the bad guys. So guys, I'm just going to allow you to take a look at this video, where, you know, there've been a whole lot of debates over what is happening in Nigeria. The Senate, Senator Baribe, Oshomole, many of them spoke passionately. We just hope that it's not just rhetoric, that what they are saying here, they are actually going to implement, because guess what? The country is already sinking. Take your time, watch this video, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.
My name is nnamdi Baribe, and I represent Abia South. The writer, George Orwell, made a very profound statement, which I will quote. He says that in times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. We are being told every day to be patriotic. We are being told here that we shouldn't say anything against. We are being told that, oh, you shouldn't talk about the past. You should focus on the present. Yet, on this floor, rather than focus on what we're supposed to talk about, we go back to say, oh, during 2015, oh, the Chibok girls happened, and oh, we are now rescuing people. People were not rescued at that time. During Chibok, 17 local governments in Katsina were not having palace with bandits. People in Kebbi were not leaving all the rural areas and coming to only the urban areas to stay. People in Niger were not being kidnapped. So why do we need to? At any time we need to talk about the present issues of today. We go back to start to look for excuse for our failures of today. I only want to say, let us do the right thing. We're not blaming this government for what they are finding itself, but it is the government in power, and they should do the right thing. What are the right things? We take only one example. The governor of Kebbi said that somebody ordered troops out and people were kidnapped. Till today, nobody in Nigeria knows what happened, and no question has been asked. And we're sitting down here as a parliament, and we turn and we talk. Yet, somebody is responsible. If I'm the commander-in-chief, I will call the army commander in that place and the head of the army and say, if you don't get me the head of this person who withdrew the troops to put all these children in jeopardy, then you make an example of him. That is how a country is run. A country is not run on pacification. A country is run on confronting issues. I rest my case.
You should try and put off your microphone. I want to associate myself with the submission of Senator Akpabio. When distinguished Senator Ashiru brought this issue up, just that he tried to do a comprehensive work of going through all the insecurity situations in the last few weeks. But there are certain salient points that we ought to bring out for the attention of the Senate. For instance, whether it is true, the social media report that the Brigadier General Oba that was murdered because he revealed his location via WhatsApp and even told them how he should be rescued. And it is said that there was complicity and that somebody within the security agencies sent the location to the bandits. And the bandits went there and captured him. It's not easy for a general of that nature to be captured and killed in a war situation. The country loses a lot. And then in the case of, is it St. Mary's or so, in Kebbi State or what, the school? I'm talking about the one that the soldiers withdrew. Where? In Kebbi Matters. So, distinguished colleagues, there is a story. The governor was crying out that they had credible intelligence that the school was being targeted by bandits. They even gave notice that they were on the way. And so soldiers and security services went to the school. I've seen pictures, brought out the children and taught them how to defend themselves. And I've seen those pictures. That the moment those bandits arrive, what you do is, as soon as you notice that we have come, you go down on the floor so that you will not get caught up by the crossfire. They brought out the children to the football field. I have pictures. And the children were taught different skills of how to escape the situation. So they went to sleep. By 4 a.m., the soldiers withdrew. By 4:30, 30 minutes after, the bandits entered and operated unfettered. I think that's what Senator Akpabio is trying to say. You have more explanation? Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Dixon, Bayelsa West, and I rise to make a brief contribution to this discussion on a very serious issue. Yesterday, you recall, Mr. President, that out of concern, I raised this issue with you, and you said this motion was being considered. So I'm happy that the deputy leader has brought this. But let me observe, just as the way Senator Akpabio also touched on that briefly. Please, this is one of the most trying periods that our country is facing. Even in battle times, in war times, it's not easy to lose a brigadier general. It's not easy to lose a brigadier general. Even in battle times, it's not easy to see this mass of communities being displaced, harassed, taken hostage, and people killed in several parts of our country. Our democracy, right before our eyes, is being rubbished. Our country, right before our eyes, is losing prestige and respect, and is endangered by the day. So this is a very serious motion. And I want to briefly object to the way and manner some of the comments from the other side have been on this very serious issue. This is the Senate of the Federal Republic.
Sorry,
no,
please.
I'm coming. Let me make my views, please.
You land, but which other side? There's only
No.
There's only one
The
side.
mover of the motion. The mover of the motion.
No.
I'm coming. Before I say, please. The mover of the motion talked about.
There's one Senator Dixon. This.
He's taking it as his work. No. He's taking it as his work. SP. On the other side. SP. Mr. President, you are protected. You are not protected. Why are you allowing those of it? To discuss this issue of national security. When they just serious issues, I'm not asking this Senate is an extension of the president that will come here and comment on a situation like this. Please, I respectfully request that all that statement. You have to withdraw that. You have to withdraw that. No. We can talk about commendation. No. Which all the players that commend them. Because they are people who commend them.
Time is up. Can I guide you? Can I guide you? If you want to conclude your speech, be guided from the chair. The reality is that this affects all of us. So there's nothing like this side or that side. Immediately, no. Well, the person watching you outside will think that the Senate is in two divisions. On the issue of insecurity that we are discussing, we are one side. The entire Senate is one. So there's nobody here that will come and say that this side is treating the issue with levity, this side. And if you say we should not commend the president, it simply means you should tell the president to sleep. When a man has canceled his international trips and step back to face the issue, what you are seeing is an attack on Nigeria by our enemies. And it's even as I'm speaking with you now, I understand that yesterday, in the same community or so, that they went there and then abducted a pregnant woman with the 11 others yesterday night. You don't know when it will come to your village. So there's nothing like this side and that side. We are all Nigerians, and we are all concerned with what is going on. So I would prefer that we concentrate on solutions. And what we are saying is that we must rise to the occasion. This country cannot bow to despair. Neither can we bow to fear. People are perpetrating this. They are human beings. Senator Garuba, maybe you may wish to highlight what you saw on the video you showed me today. Please stand up and do that.
Because when you invited Senator Akpabio to speak, you went on to reinforce the sentiments expressed by Senator Akpabio. Akpabio is not of APC. And so any attempt by anyone to distract us from what is obviously a national issue is a disservice to our collective desire to stand firm together and find a solution to what is clearly a national problem that has been there for over 20 years. Mr. President, I am not ashamed to affirm that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing his best.
Correct.
He's doing his best. That we have not yet there doesn't mean that he has done anything knowingly, whether by negligence or lack of interest. Under your leadership, Mr. President, you have encouraged us to approve not once, not twice, special supplementary budget to support our armed forces, arising from the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Those requests were not meant for the armed forces to buy ice cream. It wasn't meant for them to do tobola in military nightclubs. They are meant to strengthen the armed forces, to re-equip them, to give them access to acquire modern technology, and to train and even now directive to recruit more men and women into the armed forces. Therefore, there can be no question that President Tinubu is doing his best. In moments like this, the devil can come in and make us so confused that we might turn against ourselves and then, by default, allow the enemy to behave as if he's having an upper hand. However, what I think we should do, which under your leadership, even in your statement, you have already encouraged us to come up with such suggestion, is in the light of what we now know, what can we begin to do differently and contribute those ideas to support the executive initiative? One there, for example, is, and you amplified it, even in greater details than any one of us in this house, when you revisited the statement by the governor of Kebbi State. Nigerians are entitled to know, and it is no longer national secret, the commander of that area who ordered that those men be withdrawn. It is to be a national secret to be kept within military cycle. Nigeria should know the name, and the person should be brought to justice under the Terrorist Act. Number two, Mr. President.
Is it the view of the Senate that the issue just canvassed now, that should form part of our prayers?
Yes.
Those who support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. That is taken. Yeah. We will form part of our prayers.
Mr. President, under your leadership, we have passed death penalty on terrorism. This parliament is on record as having done that. Mr. President, I am troubled when, after all the efforts that security agencies and the prosecuting authorities have to invest to secure conviction, because unfortunately the state cannot behave like a mob. So you have to prosecute, follow due process. I am troubled by the conflicting judgment by various high court judges, where the law says act of terrorism, if convicted, shall attract death penalty. No judge has a right to pronounce less than that. It is only when you have implemented the law, interpret the law, not the sentiment of a judge, the will of the people as conveyed in a law, then the president can decide if there are reasons for him to do so, whether to commute or to reduce. How can an offense that carry death penalty, a judge reduce it to 20 years in prison? That is not acceptable. He has violated the laws passed by the parliament. Number three, sir, and this will be the last.
Has that happened in Nigeria already?
It has.
That
somebody convicted of terrorism was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
No.
Can I be allowed to land?
This is Senator. You have,
Mr. President, that is the leader of Assad. They have a group.
You have 30 seconds.
A terrorist group called Assad.
You have 30 seconds to land, but please be guided.
Okay.
Let's concentrate on the issue in discussion.
I will be guided. These are our people. For example, somebody allegedly kills someone who came to attack him on his farm. And because he killed in self-defense, the man was sentenced to death. But there is no evidence that those who have come to attack farmers and kill farmers, there is no evidence that they have been so convicted, sentenced to death. These are some of the issues we have to deal with so that nobody is given any excuse to misunderstand what is clearly a national challenge. I believe that President Tinubu inherited a situation that was already so complicated that no one of us, if we were to become president, can decree insecurity out of existence overnight. But we can begin to mobilize discernible action. We can begin to re-examine some of the discontent, but also call on the security chiefs. I am sure my colleagues here, you listen when the chief of defense staff said there is what they call war economy. That is to say, there are officers who may well be making money from this crisis. And that is why the issue of accountability, even on the part of the armed forces, is now a requirement that our relevant committees should be able to work on and ensure that we do not have saboteurs in the army or those who don't want this crisis to end, such that, we keep appropriating money, people are getting richer, and more Nigerians are being wasted. But I conclude by saying, all of us must commend the president for what he has been doing. If you see his face on television, you know that the president is not sleeping. What we need is our collective wisdom to reinforce his own limited wisdom, because nobody has monopoly of wisdom, so that together we can find a holistic solution. This situation calls for national unity. It calls for collaboration. We must not talk as Christians or as Muslims. We must not talk as Northerners or Southerners, Easterners or Westerners. It's a national challenge, and we need a national solution. Thank you, Mr. President.
Colleagues, I'm Senator Ali Ndume from Borno South. Mr. President, I want to actually commend my colleagues for showing deep concern and extensively discussing this very, very important motion. Section 14.2 of the Constitution is very clear. The purpose of government is security and welfare of its citizens. This problem of insecurity has bedeviled this country for a very long time. This chamber, that is the Senate, should not be lamenting. As you said, should be looking for solution and making appropriate recommendation. Fortunately, this president is responsible in terms of the issues of insecurity, as exhibited by canceling his trip to G20 in order to attend to this very serious problem. I want to really add on what the former Senate President said, Senator Ahmed Lawan, on the way forward. I have been the chairman of Committee on Army in the 9th Senate. And during his leadership, we had, I think, 4 summits on this issue of security. Unfortunately, it didn't solve the problem that time. Recommendations were made, and efforts were also made. Distinguished colleagues, let us use this opportunity to give the president or the leadership the necessary support in order to address this very serious problem of insecurity that is expanding to a level where government will sit down and negotiate with criminals or bandits or terrorists. The Nigerian Armed Forces and other security agencies are putting in their best. So, I'm really not comfortable with blaming them. Nigerian Army, for example, is operating in almost 32 states as it is now. They are overstretched. They don't have the number. The whole of the Nigerian Army, up to now, are not up to 300,000. I'm the one. 177. Okay, it is the police that. So, the Nigerian Army is less than 200,000. Nigerian police, less than 400,000. In fact, our security agencies all put together, including civil defense, DSS, whatever we have, it's not up to 1 million. In Egypt, the total population of Egypt is about 100 million. They have 1 million police. They have 500 active army, armed forces. 500,000. And they have 800,000 reserve. That is Egypt with 100 million. Okay. And distinguished colleagues, in every family in Egypt, if you have an adult that is up to 18 years or above, one of them must be in one of the security services. That is part of their role. So, the solution is what I have been talking since I was the chairman of Army. There are 4 things that need to be done urgently on a short-term, medium-term, and long-term basis. Number 1 is training. Our armed forces and other security agencies are not well trained for the challenges that we are facing now. The Nigerian Army is trained to fight an enemy that is identifiable. But this time around, they are fighting an unknown enemy. That's why you hear they say unknown gunmen, because the gunman is not known. We have to train them adequately. Secondly, and this is also very, very important, is equipment for the armed forces. Mr. President, as I am speaking to you now, the Army aviation sector, which was strengthened by the current president, the coming of Mr. President changed the dynamics. But he is handicapped. Right now, the Nigerian Army aviation has only 2 helicopters. They ordered for 12.
No, I don't want us to go into details of trying to, on what they don't have. Because the security chiefs will still appear before us. Let them come and tell us what they have and what they don't have, and then tell us what they need in a closed session. In a closed session, then we'll take it from there.
Well,
so let me thank you for your contribution.
No, let me learn aspect of it, which is very...
A point of order must be held at all times.
It's going to land.
It's regarding the extension of time.
You'll take it, I know. But let him just land.
I can still move around and then let him check you. Okay. Lastly, sir, this is very, very important, and I understand. I try to bring emotion on that, and the issue of remuneration of the armed forces and other security agents. As I told you last time, in Africa, where they have army, the whole of Africa, Nigeria's base salary for a private is second to the last. They receive 100,000, and this is because the president, this current president, when he came in and we raised this matter, he doubled the salary. And you know what? A private Nigerian army now is receiving 100,000. Their daily ration before was 1,500. Now the president increased it to 5,000. No. Mr. President, please be patient. This is very, very important.
We are not yet there.
Okay.
When they come, we need.
Sir, with all due respect, generals don't complain. You don't expect a general to come and tell the Senate here.
We will compel them to discuss freely with us. Please.
They have their CNC.
That should be in a closed session. Let's not bab their hair behind their back.
So, we should give the president, get those kidnapped back. The only thing that they can do is to track. But we don't have satellite images and capacity.
To your knowledge, we have a...
Sir,
I was a governor up to Taraba, up to Jalingo.
Mr. President.
So it's just the wheel.
Mr. President.
I picked them up in any part of the country. So please, don't go there. How did they even...
I'm giving you information, Mr. President, please.
But I'm saying,
we have 4 satellites. Nigeria has 4 satellites. And we don't have satellite coverage or surveillance 24 hours. We don't have it.
The Civil Senator, can I thank you for your contributions? And please, that some of these details should be discussed in closed session.
We know who these bandits are. We know where they are. We know what they want. What is left for us to conclude? If we are going to do negotiation, do it and finish it. If we are going to fight, we'll fight it to the finish. What is the big deal? We know everything. Why are we covering? Why are we covering all these things? And I want to align myself with distinguished Senator Abaribe. Sir, the issue that must take precedence is who withdrew the soldiers from Maga Primary School, on whose instruction. The world want to know, Nigerians want to know, we that is particularly affected, we want to know, sir. First of all, colleagues, I am very happy and sad at the same time. Happy in the sense that the 24 girls from Maga in my own constituency that were abducted have been released and they are all safe and healthy. They have not been molested. But distinguished Senate President and colleague, we must search our minds. As we keep saying, sir, we know who these bandits are. We know where they are. We know what they want. What is left for us to conclude? If we are going to do negotiation, do it and finish it. If we are going to fight, we'll fight it to the finish. What is the big deal? We know everything. Why are we covering? Why are we covering all these things? And I want to align myself with distinguished Senator Abaribe. Sir, the issue
that must take precedence is who withdrew the soldiers from Maga Primary School, on whose instruction. The world want to know, Nigerians want to know, we that is particularly affected, we want to know, sir. Because if we don't get to the bottom of this incident will be repeating itself. Thank you very much, the Senate President.
You have spoken on behalf of the Senate, and by implication, you have spoken on behalf of Nigerians. We are, even as I speak now, we are still facing the attacks. This is orchestrated, this is organized, and this is meant to damage the image of democracy. And all these things started with just a tweet from President Trump. People are trying to justify or call on the American president to come here and attack people. And they started by talking about religious genocide. I want you to understand that when it rains, it does not rain on only one roof. Any issue about war, all sides will suffer. So when somebody is talking about it, you know very well that there is nothing like targeted Muslims or targeted Christians. The bullets that are being sprayed will not distinguish who is a Muslim and who is a Christian. I want you to understand that. If we have miscreants who are going after Christians, then we go after them. We have miscreants who are killing Muslims, we go after them. Nigeria is a multifaceted religious country. We cannot come here and try to say, oh, one group is being attacked, the other group is not being attacked. What we are seeing here is an attack on all religions. It's an attack on all citizens of the country. It's an attack on the democracy of our country. It's an attack on Nigerian citizens. It's an attack on Nigerian government. So we must rise up to the occasion, debate and point out the reality. Let the world know that we want to be safe. We are not, how can we as a country choose insecurity? We cannot, and we cannot choose fear over peace. We cannot choose despair. So when we are discussing, we must take a very strong exception to certain acts that have happened, whether it's from the security agencies or otherwise. But when somebody says, commend the president for even the initiative of ensuring the release of over 58 children, one child that is released is a big relief to the whole country and to that family. 58 is something we should commend. And then at the same time, you're encouraging him to go after others. He has canceled all engagements. He's sitting down now and tackling on a daily basis. Even yesterday night, he met with security chiefs up to 4 hours to see how he can bring this situation to an end. And this Nigeria is very fast, and these people are moving around, going after soft targets. So let us, and like Senator Garba said, he said in their communities in Kebbi State that they know the bandits, they know where they stay, and they know what they want, and they are mingling with people, and that even some of the local government authorities are negotiating with them and paying them money. So these are things we must bring out and then forward to the executive. Let the executive also join us to find solutions. Even the security agencies must also know that even the locals know these people, and they can work with the locals to fish these people out. It's a very serious issue. It's not something that we trivialize and try to say this side or that side. That's the only problem. There's no side. There's only one side on this issue of security. Only one side. Only one side. Senator Oshimole.
Because when you invited Senator Abaribe to speak, you went on to reinforce the sentiments expressed by Senator Abaribe. Abaribe is not of APC. And so any attempt by anyone to distract us from what is obviously a national issue is a disservice to our collective desire to stand firm together and find a solution to what is clearly a national problem that has been there for over 20 years. Mr. President, I am not ashamed to affirm that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing his best.
Correct.
He's doing his best. That we have not yet there doesn't mean that he has done anything knowingly, whether by negligence or lack of interest. Under your leadership, Mr. President, you have encouraged us to approve not once, not twice, special supplementary budget to support our armed forces, arising from the request of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Those requests were not meant for the armed forces to buy ice cream. It wasn't meant for them to do tobola in military nightclubs. They are meant to strengthen the armed forces, to re-equip them, to give them access to acquire modern technology, and to train, and even now, directive to recruit more men and women into the armed forces. Therefore, there can be no question that President Tinubu is doing his best. In moments like this, the devil can come in and make us so confused that we might turn against ourselves and then, by default, allow the enemy to behave as if he's happy at an upper hand. However, what I think we should do, which under your leadership, even in your statement, you have already encouraged us to come up with such suggestion, is in the light of what we now know, what can we begin to do differently and contribute those ideas to support the executive initiative? One there, for example, is, and you amplified it, even in greater details than any one of us in this house, when you revisited the statement by the governor of Kebbi State. Nigerians are entitled to know, and it is no longer national secret, the commander of that area who ordered that those men be withdrawn. It is to be a national secret to be kept within military cycle. Nigeria should know the name, and the person should be brought to justice under the Terrorist Act. Number two, Mr. President.
Is it the view of the Senate that the issue is just canvassed now, that should form part of our prayers? Yes. Those who support say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
So guys, you have seen what is happening. One of the issues that is really troubling Nigerians is the issue of Oluremi Tinubu, who is said to have, asked. So there've been a lot of reactions going on after Tinubu's wife asked the senators to come and feast, to come and wine and dine. The reaction has been so overwhelming. Nigerians are wondering what kind of heartlessness is here. Is that, considering the fact that many children are still in captivity? When we say children, toddlers, these are not like teens, Children, as in nursery 1, nursery 2, nursery 3, and other primary school children are still in the hands of their captors. Now, news broke that one of a reverend that was kidnapped in Kaduna State alongside his wife and church member, is said to have died in the hands of his abductors. That's the breaking news for today. So, guys, when you look at what's happening to Christians, I'm just wondering, from where are those who are saying there's no genocide in Nigeria? From where are they speaking? From where are they speaking from? Now, let me just read some reactions from Nigerians after Tinubu's wife was spotted, not spotted. We have over this discussion of Tinubu's wife, calling the senators to come and eat and wine. This is what a crazy thing to do. This guy don't care. They don't care. These guys don't care. The person, the family is evil. Sheyi meeting with Gumi. Tinubu using the entire country judiciary to sing a partisan on your mandate. And now the first lady inviting the whole Senate to come and eat rice for her party, like children. The way they grip Nigeria with with their evil finger. And this other person said, this isn't something that you should have been announcing publicly, and not this time. I understand. I understand. Maybe she thinks, she expected, okay, it could be announced on the Senate floor. This person didn't put his thoughts together. And this other person said, Remi appears to be living in an enclave world, far away from what is happening in the country. Madam Patience Jonathan, with her loud English, made her voice heard. She screamed loud and clear, but Remi is proposing dinner. That this shows how much they value Nigerians. This person, Patience Jonathan, mourned with the parents of Chibok girls when it happened. If for the fact that she wasn't so exposed, or highly educated. But these people, Remittable, with the so-called high education and exposure, can't even be empathic to the plight of Nigerians. And this other person is the difference between good and evil is obvious. During Jonathan administration, his wife patient cried on national TV when Chibok girls were kidnapped. She was terrified. The drug lord Tinubu and his wife, Senator Remittable, don't care at all. And this other person said, let's call this invite what is this really. It's like trying to invite a judge who will be judge, who will be judging a case you are involved in to your private party. The Senate should never entangle with the executive that closely and still be referred to distinguished. Okay, and this other person says school children are kidnapped, but a supposed mother is organizing a feast for those who should be at the helm of affairs, making moves to rescue the kidnapped students. I'm sure you all know why Bola Tinubu behaves like a nonchalant Trump without empathy. What his wifey is ludicrous. And this person said the organization fee alone, definitely taxpayers' money. So when you look at NNPC, entertainment expenses, and other sector alone, you shouldn't be surprised, because corruption and irregularities is always continue to thrive in the present day Nigeria government. And this other person is saying, what people are not seeing is that all the kidnappings and rescuing without arrest are propaganda orchestrated by politicians. If we really have a crisis at hand, they will not be dining at this time. They are celebrating their wins. Granted, real terrorists are still at the play. And this person, that's to show you how Tinubu and family cares for their citizens. When you talk, his cohorts and puppets will attack you. Bro Morris, I can assure you, this Nigerian media all over his history will drop it after 3 days. Nigerians in entirety have a big problem. Remembrance problem. Okay, bro, I can assure you that this Nigerian media all over this story will drop it after 3 days. Nigeria in entirety have a big problem, remembrance problem. So guys, I'll stop here. These are reactions from Nigerians after Remittable was asking the Senate to come in and wine and dine while children are in captivity, and that Nigerians have not welcomed at all. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification. Now take a look.